You guys are not going to believe what happened during the most boring chore in history. My mom told me I had to load the dishwasher, but when I poured in the soap, the suds didn't just foam up, they started spinning in a perfect, glowing vortex. I peered into the steam, and there, standing on the edge of a cereal bowl, was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. A tiny, translucent sparkle unicorn. It was made entirely of iridescent soap bubbles, with a mane that looked like shifting liquid starlight. But as I watched, its hooves started to turn gray, and the tiny rainbow hovering over its horn began to flicker like a dying light bulb. It looked at me with these big, shimmering eyes, and I realized it wasn't just visiting, it was fading. The dishwasher's magic cycle was ending, and if its rainbow disappeared completely, this little legend would be gone forever. I knew right then that this wasn't just a chore anymore. It was a high-stakes rescue mission. I reached out to touch it, but my finger went right through its bubbly side. It's too delicate for human hands. The unicorn let out a tiny, melodic whinny that sounded like wind chimes, and suddenly, a vision popped into my head. It needs color orbs to recharge its heart, apparently. Sparkle unicorns live off the vibrant energy found in the brightest foods in our world. If I could find 3 specific orbs of pure color before the dishwasher's final dry cycle beeped, I could jumpstart its magic and send it back to the rainbow dimension. I looked at the timer. 8 minutes left. The kitchen was suddenly transformed into a giant adventure. Map! I grabbed my energy scanner, which is definitely not just a kitchen whisk, then began a frantic hunt for the first ingredient, a burst of solar yellow. I tore through the pantry like a whirlwind. My eyes scanned past all the boring stuff, bypassing the brown crackers and the gray oatmeal. I needed pure, vibrant color. My whisk scanner was twitching, leading me deeper into the shelves. And then I saw a single, glowing kernel of sweet corn hiding at the bottom of a bowl, almost like it was waiting for me. It was perfect. I carefully scooped it up onto a silver spoon, my hands shaking a little, and presented the yellow orb to the unicorn. As soon as the spoon got close, the unicorn's horn pulsed with a gentle light, and a bright yellow stripe surged back into its mane. It worked! But the clock was ticking, and I could see its legs were still turning to foam. There was no time to celebrate. I raced to the fridge for the red orb, my next target. The floor was slippery, a lava floor of spilled juice from earlier. I had to tiptoe and dodge the sticky patches. Inside the fridge, a whole new world of challenges. I pushed aside a carton of milk, a half-eaten yogurt. Where was the red? And then, behind a jar of pickles, I found a tiny slice of bell pepper that was so red it practically hummed with power. It was the one. I grabbed it and rushed back to the dishwasher. One touch, and the unicorn grew stronger, actually starting to gallop across the top rack of the dishwasher. Its little bubble hooves were kicking up tiny sprays of water. But the final color, the deep blue, was nowhere to be found. I searched the fruit drawer, tossing grapes aside. I looked in the freezer, even behind the milk, panicking as the dishwasher gave its 2-minute warning beep. The sound echoed in the kitchen, a countdown to doom. With only 60 seconds left, I was starting to lose hope. My eyes darted everywhere, scanning for a speck of blue. The little unicorn's rainbow was flickering faster now, almost gone. And then I spotted it. A lone blueberry, trapped in the corner of a Tupperware lid on the counter. It must have fallen out of the container this morning. I lunged for it, my socks skidding across the kitchen tile, and scooped it up just in time. I held the blue orb up to the steam, my heart pounding. The moment the blueberry touched the soapy air, a massive shockwave of color exploded through the kitchen. The unicorn didn't just glow. It became a brilliant, blinding prism of light. Its rainbow wasn't just a flicker anymore, it was a solid, arching bridge stretching from the cutlery basket right up to the ceiling. The little guy reared up on his hind legs, let out a triumphant neigh that echoed with pure magic, and started to leave behind a trail of glittery soap suds that smelled like tropical rain. The dishwasher started its final drain, creating a swirling whirlpool of water that began to glow with every color of the spectrum. This was at the portal back to the rainbow dimension was opening right between my dinner plates. I watched, totally amazed, as the sparkle unicorn turned back one last time. It trotted over to the edge of the dishwasher rack and nuzzled my hand with a muzzle that felt like a warm, wet cloud. It was a silent thank you. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, it leaped into the glowing whirlpool and vanished in a puff of strawberry-scented steam. Just like that, it was gone. The dishwasher beeped its final, normal beep. The lights went back to normal, and the kitchen was quiet again. I stood there for a minute, just staring at a perfectly clean plate where the unicorn had just been standing. Everything looked normal, but when I picked up the plate, I noticed something incredible. There, etched into the ceramic, was a tiny, permanent rainbow, a little reminder of my secret mission. I guess some chores aren't just about cleaning, they're about keeping the magic alive. So, the next time your parents tell you to do the dishes, keep your eyes open. You might just save a life, or at least find a unicorn in your spoons. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I hear a dragon growling inside the microwave. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more adventures.